Welcome to the Windows Computer and Technology channel, and this is my review of Windows 11. It will be followed by my ranting of Windows 11. So kind of, having both sides of the medal, because there's good things, there's bad things. This one is about a review. We'll quickly go through the different new options in here. So what's Windows 11? It's the latest operating system that Microsoft has released. It's available today, October the 5th, 2021. More than 6 years after the release of Windows 10, which was done on July 29th, 2015. After several, big updates, after having all sorts of news of how the Windows 10 development is going and would have all sorts of new features coming up, well, it seems that Microsoft at some point, even though they pushed to us the idea that Windows 10 would have Sun Valley updates and feel and look, it's finally Windows 11. And actually, when you download the image from or the install from the Microsoft website, they call it Windows 11 Sun Valley. So this, I think, has been a last-minute decision where at some point, somewhere later last year, somebody said, you know what, let's make this a new operating system. And with Windows 10 X not being a thing anymore, the ideas of Windows 10 X were also probably included in here, with a surprisingly small amount of testing done for a operating system. So is that something good or not? Well, look at my ranting video where I talk of the other aspect, or the other side of the Windows 11 operating system. First thing you'll notice when you get this done is, of course, the start menu, which is centered. A lot of people will say, well, this is nonsense. It was always on the left side. I don't know why they do that. You know what? More and more in mobile platforms, because I see a lot of people comparing this to Mac or to Linux or whatever. It's nothing to when you compare it to those. It has nothing to do with that. It's much more if somebody looks at a Chromebook or mobile devices. It's, I think, a way of Microsoft trying to have Windows 10 feel and look more like mobile operating systems today, including Chrome OS. So that's much more closer to what this actually looks. Some people we want to put it back on the left side, and you can. So you can, right click on your taskbar, go in taskbar settings, and you could say that taskbar behavior, I want to have it back on the left side, and it's going to work, and you're going to get back on the left side. You have, of course, the start menu, which is apps that are pinned, and of course that you can customize, and recommended section that is, all the apps and the documents you open and stuff like that. Unfortunately, there's very little space for customization in here, but if you want, you can have, for example, apps become all apps, and when you would go to the start menu on the left, kind of ish, Windows 10 ish, not exactly, but a lot of wasted space. This is kind of weird. We'll talk about it in the rant video. So different feel, different look, and you can of course customize this a little bit. Unfortunately, you can't move the taskbar really. And this is something that a lot of people will kind of just rant and think about and say, what? You can't really, you can't move it. There, of course, is the system tray and all the information on the right side of the screen with the quick actions that is now available. Quick actions will, by default, open the big calendar, but you can minimize it like with the arrow here. When you do get notifications that pop up here, they are grouped with clearly stated which app is giving you a notification. It's not necessarily that much better than Windows 10, but they're trying to do something with it. Of course, everything you see here has rounded edges. So every menu, everything you'll do, everything you click, rounded edges. But there is some inconsistencies where some apps actually don't have the rounded edges, and We'll see that in the rant video. So one of the things also is that now there's newer panels everywhere. So if you click, for example, for the volume, you have this new panel, this new feel and look. And of course, you can choose your different volume settings. If you have an app that actually plays something, a video, so let's go here, for example. Let's go to YouTube. And let's choose a random video that I'll actually put the sound at 0. Here we go, 0 sound. Now, if you actually are looking at your volume control, there is a new panel with controls. You can stop the video, you can fast forward, depending on what type of media of content it is. You are able to actually change that. So here, if you actually, I'm going to click here. So here's the video that is playing. Go back. Of course, you'll have the different options that should pop up here. And here is, I believe the panel is kind of off screen. So, you know, when we say there's some weirdness in Windows 11, this is one. You notice that the panel, which is here, is kind of off screen right now. So, but you did see the controls. That's gonna be part of my rant video when you go to it. The things that are kind of unfinished and weirdnesses in Windows 11. But when it works well, there's a control of your media from there. I'm laughing right now. So snap options also easier. Snap options is the ability to put windows together, but you can actually choose, you know, a snap option when you open an app, and then go back and open another app and say, well, I want to put this one here. So it, you know, it kind of supposed to simplify the snapping options. It does to a certain point. It's kind of nice. It has a nice feel. It doesn't work with every apps. Third-party apps, for example, some apps refuse to follow this or have this option. So it depends what you're going to use as an app. Not all of them actually obey the rules of Snap. If you're a user that has multiple screens, Windows 11 is much better on that side. Windows 11, when you have multiple displays, now has the ability to really reorganize the displays. And what I mean by that, if you go to Windows 10 or Windows 7 and you actually have two screens, you put an app on one screen and you keep an app on the main screen, you might notice that when you actually remove the second screen, the app that was on that second screen is still in that nowhere land now where there's supposedly a second screen. So it's sometimes kind of awkward and makes it difficult to bring it back unless you plug back that second screen. Windows 11 fixes that. Once you unplug the second screen in the display, what's going to happen is everything reorganizes to the main display. You don't have to do anything. It's just, it just works. That, I got to say, is a really better option. Also, tablet mode is now automatic. You can't choose it. So in Windows 10, you have an icon in the buttons and the quick actions, which will actually give you tablet mode capability, even on a device that's not made for that. In Windows 11, they removed the switch. The switch is done automatically once you remove the keyboard from the device. So the 2-in-1 devices, once you detach, you'll be in tablet mode. It's going to be automatic. And things are going to be a little spaced out, a little more. You see the spaces like on the icons at the bottom here? They're spaced out even more to make it easy for you with your fingers to go and check out, click whatever option on your touchscreen. Even in the menus space out better. So there's all sorts of little things like that are actually being done. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting to see the way it works. Every menu, every contextual menu is a little different. Of course, the taskbar settings, when you click taskbar, it's not the regular options that you get in the menus. Here, what's happened with that is that Microsoft decided to try to simplify the menus. A lot of people are ranting, I right-click the taskbar, I'm used to that, and I don't have my task manager and all of that. You have to right-click the start button for this to happen and get your task manager and things like that. One of the things that is to note is that a lot of the older Windows, once again, inconsistencies in Windows. You still have like an old style task manager that looks way more like Windows XP than it does Windows 11. That it's, they've barely touched the surface. It's really the UI changes are more of a skin on top of Windows than really a major overall, and that also is a lot of people are kind of not happy with that. There's an update to the File Explorer. File Explorer app is been updated. As you see here, it's different. It has different options also when you right click on the different folders and so on. Some of the things are icons, so it's like you don't have a copy or paste, or it's an icon that is showing up. And so if you right click a folder that you have, if you right click something, all the options of copy, paste, and cut are icons. Not everybody's going to like that. It might need getting some used to. They're available here as the right click menu. They're available if you just click the option also at the top in that ribbon of the File Explorer. So it's kind of a different feel, different thing. It needs getting used to. I actually do a lot of copy paste and cut and pastes in the files, and I have to say, needs to get some used to it a little bit. New option, that is the widgets. Widgets, promise of widgets have been on. There's going to be tons of widgets, including third-party widgets. You'll be able to, have tons of things in here. Right now, it's only Microsoft stuff. Not to say Microsoft crap, because a lot of it I don't care about. When third-party widgets do appear, that's maybe going to be better, and it's going to change the feel. As you see here, the visuals, the acrylic, and the different fluent design options, they've really played with that to make it even more interesting and better. Visually, I have to say, I'm pleased at the looks of Windows 11. I like it. But, it's not for everybody. I think some people might not really care. And I think a lot of people don't really care about that. And they just want to have something that works. Some minor app updates. So some of the core apps will have little updates, but nothing much. It's mostly just changing the app for the rounded corners and edges. The one that maybe has the biggest change is the Microsoft Store app, which has a new redesigned interface with the buttons on the left side here and so on. So this is something that, is different, and definitely is something that you might want to check out. So there are updates to the different apps. You can, of course, look at the different core apps like the Clock app, which is new and has focus sessions, which lets you choose the amount of time that you do work, for example, stuff like that. So these apps have been updated a little bit. There's the Snip and Sketch app. The Photos app also has some changes. But they're minor changes. You can't say that they're really big, overall, major differences. It's really kind of slightly modernizing it, maybe, if we can call it like that. The Settings app, of course, is completely redesigned with all the options on the left side. So depending on what you want to do, the personalization and so on, everything is now in a new way of doing things. So if you go to personalization and you have options of themes, you'll click there, brings you a new panel. That panel will have themes and more options and things that you can do. I don't know. It's nice. I like the fact that this is like this. Am I pleased? Maybe there's at some point and sometimes a little too much. One of the ideas beyond Windows 11 when they did it was to declutter the interface. It is in one aspect in some of the menus. Like when you right click on your screen, it's a different thing. It's a different feel. But at the same time, some people might miss some of the options that were here or not. The idea behind this was really to try to just put the options that people really want and keep out anything else that might not be useful for whatever you're doing in the context menus. So in the settings app, sometimes some of the settings seem that it's a little more cumbersome. And one big rant I'll have in my rant video will be with the default apps that clearly is not well designed for the viewers or the users of Windows. And look at my rant video. You'll see that there's quite a few things I'll rant about. So one of the new aspects here is the Windows updates. Windows updates are to be slimmer and faster to install. So this is to be checked out as time goes by. But one aspect of the Windows updates that I did like and that I think people are going to find useful, how many times you've been in front of your PC, not really knowing how much time is left on your updates. Well, now there's an indication of time. So when the update goes through, it's going to tell you, oh, this is going to take approximately 10 minutes. And it's most of the time faster than the time that they put there. So, instead of waiting and like wondering, is it doing something? Because a lot of PCs don't have those hard drive blinking lights anymore. So you're not sure if your PC is doing something or not. Well, now you have the option where it's going to tell you, well, it's going to take about 10 minutes on your PC. Is it very accurate? All I know is every time I've seen it, it was actually faster than the time that was there, which I think is a good thing. You don't want it to be longer. And you don't want it to be like in Windows 98 when it told you, 60 minutes left. And every time you look at a minute, it's like, wow, every minute is 3 minutes. It's actually 180 minutes. That was so bad. This seems to be better designed and seems better overall. Lots of internal changes of little settings, and we'll look at that in separate videos focusing on that. New settings for the displays. If you have a display that can use HDR or high dynamic range, all things like that. Refresh, of course, of the dynamic refresh of the frame rates and so on different screens. All of that is going to be, or the refresh rate, of the different screens. There's updated options in Windows 11 for all of this, including gaming. Is it faster? Microsoft says yes. Microsoft says they optimized it, and they have optimized it in a way that it makes it better. It does feel really fast. Honestly, I sometimes wonder if it's not actually faster than it was on Windows 10. It's difficult when you don't have two exact machines and to test, both things, which is not the case here. But it does seem fast. It does seem good. As for the stability of the operating system, personally, Windows 11 has not crashed on my machine. I use even the insider previews on another machine. It seems stable, and it seems, good enough. Do you want to move on to this? Well, look at my ranting video before you take any decisions. But it's up to you if you want or not to move to this. One thing for sure, there's a slight feel of, something unfinished. You've seen I had a little glitch with the playback buttons, which were off screen here. Little glitches like that are happening here and there within the operating system. I see a lot of people that came back to me saying, it has no problems. Yes, it does. It's because you don't use the options that do create some little awkwardness here and there. But when you use it a lot like I do, you start noticing there are some little weirdnesses here and there. But nothing that prevents you from working or, having any problems. It's just that sometimes, it kind of adds to, the frustration you could have while working. Overall, I like the feel. I like the look. It's fast. I'm a happy camper. You know, being in Windows 11, I have no plans of going back to Windows 10 on this machine. But it might not be for everybody. And do remember that, you know what, your Windows 10 operating system is fine. It's going to work until 2025. Really no rush. And look at my ranting video to give you a better idea of, you know, the good and the bad. Here we've seen the good and what it is all about. Of course, now the ranting video is going to come up soon. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.